Oh,
Awesome.
hey, welcome back to another exciting episode of YOML. Actually, today we have a special book for us to talk about. So let's talk about love today. What can we learn about love?
Let's talk about love. So this book, I think you've heard of this book before, right?
No, I've not.
Are you kidding? I feel like everybody's heard of this book. It's called The Five Love Languages: The Secret to Love That Lasts by the author Gary Chapman. This dude was like a couples counselor and like a priest or a pastor, I can't remember. And he
Maybe interrupt you.
yeah,
Why is a priest
a pastor. He's a pastor.
a pastor? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
My question was, why would a priest be an expert in love between a couple?
That's a great question, actually, because you do have to go to like
Counseling by the guy who never have a wife. I mean, maybe pastors, maybe I don't know, but
right.
for most like Catholics or whatever, it's like marriage counseling is by this
It's not
guy.
marriage. It's not marriage counseling in Catholicism. I would say it's spiritual counseling to make sure that you are connected with each other spiritually.
Most of the marriages didn't go as planned just because the guy who's talking about how to be a good couple to each other never had a counterpart.
Yeah. I
I
mean, I
mean,
don't. I don't disagree. I mean, yeah, that's like a beaver trying to teach
teach a
a
cheetah how to
bee how
run
to make honey.
fast.
We dropped our first beaver quote in the.
But I'm not
Anyway,
sure we can top it.
no, not at all. That was all right. So, but moving on to the reflection. So, this book is called The Five Love Languages: The Secret to Love That Lasts. So, this
Mhm.
guy is a pastor and he did like couples counseling and he began to like see trends or something along those lines. And then he created these five love languages based off of his counseling, trends. And the whole goal of the five love languages is to learn what your spouse's love language is and then be able to speak that love language to them to be able to talk in their language, I guess, if you will, and strengthen your relationship and build a loving marriage that lasts together. Now, first and foremost, I'll get to the reflection actually, because the reflection title of this one is become multilingual. So this is a book that my wife and I did together. This is one of our audio books that we did together. So
Mhm.
we actually had a blast with this, and I started this off with I love my wife, and this is why I love my wife because like we had a blast listening to this, not because we learned a lot, but because we both hated it so much. And this is like we have such a good connection. I could just see her like we paused this thing so many times throughout the course of like listening to it to both just talk about this guy was creepy. The way that he writes is he pretty much only writes about like, a man and a woman, white couple, it feels
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean? And then he also kind of like shitty. Like he was just kind of I don't know. There was certain things that he said that we were both kind of like, what did he just say? Like that's really creepy, you know.
Mhm.
So onto the love languages. This book just reconfirmed why I love my wife so much because even though we're completely opposites, we still both do. We have our own unique perspectives on lives, but do also have a lot of commonalities as well. And this is like the perfect example of it. We both are love to debate. I know she doesn't really love to get into conflicts, but she
Mhm.
certainly has very opinionated. She certainly has strong opinions and positions that she likes to take in life as well as I do. We're both kind of stubborn a lot of times as well. So having somebody tell us, what our love language was and us just accept it, like that's a commonality that my wife and I do not have to share together because we just don't accept when somebody tells us we talked about this a couple episodes back, right? About the Clifton strengths assessments, and the disc profiles, and and the Hogwartsing of everything. Like this book was the ultimate Hogwartsing of love languages. I mean, it was infuriating to listen to be honest with you. But it was fun because my wife and I we had a blast getting angry, and talking shit about this book to each other. So it was actually really fun. I could look over when I know this dude said something that was like in my head, I'm like going, what did he just say? And I would look over at Felicia and she's just over there going, I mean, like I could, it was just funny. So anyway, moving on to more of the serious part of the reflections. The reason why we both hated this so much was that whole Hogwartsing of it and of like every single love language that this guy went through. We would stop and we would talk about it and we would have like a good conversation about like, how do you relate to this? What do you feel like? What does this mean to you? And almost unanimously across the board for both of us, every single one of the love languages, we were like, well, I'm a little bit of that, and I'm a little bit of that, and I like to do that, and I like a little bit of this. But we were like, we're not any, we're all of these, Like, I mean, I could not. comprehend, like, because I was like, well, I am a little bit of that, and I do like that, and I'm a little bit of, it was like a smorgasbord, a buffet going across there, and she felt the exact same way. So like that was our only commonality we had, was like, being able to become multilingual and being multidimensional in terms of who you are, not just going, well, this is exactly who I am, and this is how you should communicate to me. And I remember we were on a walk with Luca and we were listening to this. And I remember as he kept just trying to lump people into a certain category, he said something. I just paused it, like this thought came into my head. I turned to my wife and I was like, what would be the first thing that you would do if you moved to a foreign country? What was the first thing that you did when you moved to a foreign country?
First thing?
Yeah. What's the first thing that you would want to do if you moved to a foreign country? Because you did, but what was the first thing that you did?
But it's up to me because I was just 10 years old.
But what did you do? No, I mean, what was the first thing that you thought of? Like, I'm now in America, like,
You
what
have
do
to
I?
learn, you have to learn the language of the land.
Exactly. That's exactly what I turned. I was like, I looked at her and I was like, what would you do if you moved to another country tomorrow? I would learn their language. I don't even know that there's a debate about that. This made me start to think about the platinum rule, right? Like, it's treat others the way that they want to be treated, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all a little bit of everything.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how illogical the slangs are.
Right.
If you want to speak Texans, speak Texans to them because that's what they
Right.
want to hear. You don't say, "Oh, that's wrong," and then you say, "Oh, I'm gonna correct you." So, no, you speak the way they speak, right?
Right.
Regardless of what you think. So
Like,
whatever you do, it's like for me, it's like this is something that I mean, it's a pet peeve of mine as well. It's like you live in America, be like an American. Don't
right.
don't say, hey, no, I'm proud of my traditions and blah blah. Shit, you don't live in your country, and don't bring that shit here. If they
I
want
agree.
it and they ask for it, give it to them. But this is not that country, so don't bring it.
I,
Don't
I,
bring it
cou- I,
unless you're invited. To
I couldn't
me,
agree more.
don't come to my house and say, well, in my house, this is what I do, man. You
Right.
take off the fucking shoes if you're in my house, right? Whatever it is, you go to Japan, right? You go to whatever, and you leave your sandals outside because that's what they expect you to do. Imagine what they could do to you if you do that. So to me, a pet peeve, you have to follow the tradition of the place you're
I
at
agree.
because you
I
are not from there. You are a guest, right? So you have
100%.
to absorb their culture and their traditions, not the other way around. Don't force it. And so
See,
to me,
this
that's the
is
only
this
way to be human.
this is why this book infuriated us, because he was like, look, you got to know your love language and you got to know your partner's love language, and then you got to go and make sure that they express to you and talk to you in your love language, right? And I'm like, no, that's the opposite. It's like you got to listen and learn and understand what other people are, and then they need to do the same. But that was the point. It's the conversation, and you need to listen to other people, and you need to be able to be heard and be understood, and then that's when you make a connection with somebody, not when somebody's like, look, like you said, like, I mean, if you only spoke Vietnamese still and you're like, hey, you need to speak to me in Vietnamese, and I would go, I don't speak Vietnamese. I don't know what you want me to do. And then you don't live in Vietnam.
If you were to come to Vietnam, then yeah, you may be expected to speak Vietnamese, but you're
Right.
not. There's no need for say, hey, oh, true, he's Vietnamese. I gotta speak to him in Vietnamese. That's just stupid.
I agree. And like you got to recognize where you are and then listen to other people and be able to speak their language.
Basically, this is what we call EQ, right?
Right.
Well, I'm sensing that okay, we're comfortable doing this, we're comfortable doing that, we're not comfortable doing, the other, whatever. You're sensing people's emotions, right? Okay,
Right.
he's kind of accepting or he isn't accepting, right? So you have to say, well, what is the vibe he's giving out? He's friendly, he's willing to try to learn your name, right? If people say, how do you say your name in Vietnamese, right? If they don't have no inclination to say it, call me whatever you want. Call me true, false,
Right.
call me true blue, call me whatever you want,
Right.
right? Close enough. Ding.
Exactly.
Right? I don't expect them to get my name right because it's not their native tongue. It's illogical to expect them to do that, right? But people say you have to say my name right. Like, what the fuck? To give
So
a shit.
you're the perfect person to talk about this too, because you did come to a foreign country and you did have to adapt to yourself to literally become multilingual, because you can't expect people to adapt to you. Like this book, this is why this book infuriated me so much. Like you can't, this is why all the categorization sucks. Like if I went around and said I'm a Gryffindor, and like you need to talk to me like a Gryffindor, man, like, and I'm gonna go, I don't fucking speak Gryffindor, and you're in, not Hogwarts right now. Like, and I like you're, like
Harry,
you
who?
need to adapt, right? Yeah, exactly. Like you're in,
Say what the
the
hell
Lord
is
of the Rings
Hogwarts?
right now. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's you need to adapt to wherever you are and learn from other people and learn how to communicate with other people. Like, I mean, like you cannot expect everybody to understand. Like, can you imagine people trying to understand like Clubany and just like if you walked into a conversation and you're like, look, we have 3 years of immersing ourselves into this world, and to expect somebody after a 20-minute conversation to get it would be like, that's just stupid, like if they want to go, we talked about this before a couple of reflections back about when you truly want to connect with somebody meaningful.
I have no idea.
We were debating what comes first, like understand. Gosh, the point of the matter of what I was getting at is like at the end of the day, like there's
Oh, you're talking about people or friends?
oh yeah, that one, like whether you have friends first or
Influence.
Yeah, like right, like your influence or friends first, like what comes first or what comes second, right? The bottom line is people would never understand what we're talking about a beaver. You think people would understand the Clubany speak that we're talking? No, we got to go meet them where they are and then slowly bring them along and influence them if they want to be influenced, right? And agree to take that journey together, but then speak their language and try to translate for them what this new world means and to help them to discover this. But they have to be willing to want to discover new things, otherwise we're never going to connect.
This is the reason why humans can be an elephant whisperer, but an elephant cannot be a human whisperer.
Very good
That's the
point.
difference. And
It's a
so
great.
if you're talking about trying to figure it out, okay, human, what do you speak? And then you have to go and say, well, I don't speak that. And trying to expect the other party to speak your language and the other party expect you to speak their language, you will never connect.
Never.
You will never ever connect. And that's the reason
Right.
why human can be a dog whisperer, a horse whisperer, an elephant whisperer, or whatever kind of whisperer you want.
Right.
You can do it because we have the ability to go to that land and learn their language, communicate with them, and then start to introduce some of our concepts to them. But only when you bridge that connection before you can start to influence. Because you can't expect, hey, your wife is this and you're this, and you have to know who you are, and you have to know who she is, and blah blah blah. That's nonsense, right? And
It is. It's
just
so
imagine
stupid.
me, and I mean the thing is an example. Like I came here when I was 10 years old, right? It took me about probably like 6 months or under a year to learn the language. There are people who came here, Vietnamese, who came here, and non-Vietnamese people come here for 20 years and still can't speak the language.
I'm sure
And
they
and
haven't connected
and
with a lot of Americans either.
and they just refuse to understand that, right? The mindset is that, I don't need to speak English. I don't need to communicate with these people. Eric and I are working on this project because these people have no way to communicate with the American customers. I mean,
Right.
they service them, but they
Right.
can't talk to the American customer. They've been here for like 10, 20, 30, 50 years, and they still can't speak the language. And even if they can, they don't understand. And even if they can have some words that they have an accent, they don't talk the slang, right? When they say I have a stomach ache, they say I have stomach ache, right? They
Right.
don't really care how it's pronounced. They say, well, this is how it's enunciated in my language. I put shake in instead of ache. And
Right.
I have a headache instead of a headache. You
Right.
think about it.
I did not know that. Well, to your point, the reason why I don't know that is because I've never lived in Vietnam and I don't know how that works, right? I don't know how they speak, right? So that's on
I
me.
mean, the thing is, they refuse to. Is a mindset, right? Because if you get to the mindset of say, I need to learn how to speak, how to communicate with the people that lives in this land, I'm going to make the changes.
Right.
If you do that,
Yes.
then it's easy for you to learn and absorb and embrace whatever changes that comes to you.
Right.
If you comes to this land and you say, well, I don't need to speak. They need to, learn what my traditions and blah blah blah, right? They never connect. Your American don't connect. You don't connect with them, and the American don't connect. I mean, you go to these a lot of these Oriental services where there's nails, hair, whatever it is, right? They've been here for like 10, 15, 20 years.
I mean, just think about how much more successful they could be and how many more meaningful customer relationships they could form if they could do that, because they're already successful enough, but they're self-limiting their own growth potential by not learning I mean, I would be an idiot if I told my wife, hey, this is how I only want you to communicate with me and expect that I'm going to still say married. I can't even fathom that. Like being like, she gives no shits about I need necessarily, and she shouldn't, but like, that's not how it should work.
We have this ability to morph, right? And
Right.
so we have good days, we have bad days, and we have up days and down days, right? And you can't say, well, today you only speak to me in this language, right? No, when I'm down, don't fucking go and and be aggressive, right? It's not gonna
Right.
work.
You got to speak something new every single day.
That song about how to save a friend, but I don't know who is by, but how to save a friend, right?
How to save a life? Pray.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it's that thing, right? When they're down and whatever they say,
Right.
going through whatever it is, right? It depends on their emotional state, right? We have different emotional state,
Right.
so you
and we have
can't say
multiple love languages.
there's 5 different languages, and this is the language. I want very stern, I want very honest and like radical truth and blah blah. When your wife says this thing make me look fat, right? You should don't.
I can't even remember what the 5 love languages are. This is how much I did not like this book. What are they? The 5 love language types. Man, my internet is running so slow right now. What the hell?
Look at the images. The first one.
What are the 5 love languages? I can't even... Oh, here it is. Quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Right?
Right. Like, yeah, even if that is your love language.
Yeah. Move out of the way.
Like this is so this is what we were like laughing at. We're like, well, I like to spend quality time with you, and I also like words of affirmation, and I don't need gifts. I like gifts every once in a while.
All of them.
Right. Like I'm like, wait, an acts of service. Like, I mean, we do that every day. Like if I just said, hey, acts of service isn't my love language, and you're like, oh, okay, great. Well, then you can take care of all the chores, all the you can go do all the grocery shopping, take care of the kids, whatever, because like. You don't need acts of service.
Yeah. Hey, don't touch me.
Right.
That's my language. Don't touch me. Well, I mean, go be a fucking monk.
Right. I mean, this book just like, once again, this is why I love my wife, because we're on the same page, right? Like, she knows that you have to be multidimensional, and I know that I need to be multidimensional for her. And whatever room you're in,
it's about being adaptable, right? So, like I said, you have to read and understand the lay of the land, right? You understand the room, like you say, read the room. What kind of vibe are they giving out? Is this a fun vibe? Is this a serious vibe? Is this a professional vibe? Or right? Be one with the vibe, right? Adapt to that vibe, right?
Be water, my friend.
Be water. Be water.
For sure. I think I'm glad that you agree with this as well. Like, I think you would absolutely hate this book. Don't ever read it.
I would. I mean, just by looking at the 5 languages, it's like I was scratching my head already. So, what the hell?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like this guy thought it was like so easy. It's like, well, if you do this, if you like quality time and the other person likes, physical touch, like, make sure that you give them physical touch, and then you make sure you give them quality time, and you guys will be happy. Like, you'll have a marriage for forever.
I mean, the thing is, there's a certain time my wife say don't touch her, and there's certain times like she can't keep her hands off me. So that's the point. You have different kind of mental state, right? Emotional state. If somebody is pissed, right? Don't be pissed because it's going to add fuel to the fire. It's not going to help. You can't save lives by saying, what you did is wrong. You're fucking stupid, right? Well, you're not going to save no life.
Agreed. I cannot believe this book is as popular as it is. I mean, it blows my mind. I mean, I think this book has sold like millions and millions and millions of copies. Like, I just. Like, I swear to God, if I ever dated somebody and they were like, what's your love language? I'd be like, all right, I think this is over.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one.
Let me save some time. Okay.
Right. Look,
it's nice knowing you.
Is it any different than somebody coming up to you and going, look, I'm a Leo, so that means that, like, I'm going to be, this, and this at all times. And if you can't deal with that, then you just can't be with me, And I would...
Say, okay.
Wait, okay.
Not that I remember.
That's the one that Jordan told us to read. Anyway, it's like attached, right? Like you're either secure or you're insecure. You're either and then there's two different types of insecurity ones, and they're like opposites attract to each other, right? Well, even after reading that book, I'm just so sick and tired of these books to try to categorize everything. You can't categorize everything in life. I honestly, whenever this is now I'm like on a soapbox because I have my team going through training right now through this outsourced firm. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. That they're going through like a kind of like a sales 101 boot camp, kind of thing. And I hopped on the first day and for like the first like hour, half an hour, just to say hi, check in, like meet the trainers, like whatever it is, while my team's doing whatever they're doing. And we connect every day at the end of the day. Like they have like a team meeting at the end of the day, just to talk about the day. Like, what was our focus? Like, did you do your first things first? Like, it's like a group accountability buddy kind of program
Right.
that we all get together and meet at the end of the day. Right. So the first day, after the first day they did this training, I was like, so what'd you guys learn today? Because we always check in on like what we learned, and one of them was like, well, in this training, they said like, sales is like 70%, character, 10%, skill, and like 20% something else. And they were like, well, I don't know that I fully agree with that, but that was something that I learned today. I just paused. I don't know where the fuck this guy got these numbers at. Sales is straight up, there could be something, I don't know, more abstract than the art of the sale or the art of there is no easy path, and you can't go. You spend 70% of your time. I literally told my team, I was like, look guys, if anybody ever tells you they're an expert and they have like a breakdown, just run the fuck away, because one of our team core values is humility. We don't know anything, right? And I tell them that all the time. They were asking me, is that right? What do you think about those breakdowns and these percentages? And I go, I don't know. Like, where the hell should you come from? Bottom line is, everybody, I feel like we're just so, humans are just so human sometimes, and we just want to categorize everything and lump it all into these nice, neat little 5 love languages. Like, this is all that you got.
The thing is, it's a coping mechanism. You think about a wicked environment in a what other environment?
Kind,
right?
Yeah.
Life isn't a kind environment. So we take the wicked environment and we trying to make it kind so that we can predict them. Hey, you're this guy, so I'm gonna use this technique on you, right? Like playing chess. It has its fixed rules. That's the thing. We are coping with the uncertainty and the anxiety. It's just killing us. So we have to do that. And the less you understand, the less you want to categorize it. Anyone who is an expert and is categorizing things, they don't know shit, right? We don't know shit, but they don't know shit.
because in 100 years, fish won't exist anymore, right? I mean, like it's why fish don't exist. I mean, in 100 years, there won't be 5 love languages. This guy will feel like an asshole when he comes back to. When he's hanging out up in heaven or whatever, and he's
not an asshole right now.
Well,
no, he's surprised.
Right, that's true. I mean, oh god, it just like it. No, I think my final thought on this one is like, it is nobody's job to speak your language to you. Like, it is nobody's job. It is your job to speak their language to them, but it is nobody's job to speak your language.
Read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. That will tell you how to speak.
Listen and just hear their backgrounds and experience, and then platinum rule them. Like, then do unto them the way that they would want to be treated. God,
this is a book as how not to be, right? If you want a book of how to, go read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do that. That book exactly tells you exactly how to
have a successful marriage.
To be a successful marriage, have a wonderful group of friends, or whatever. That book I recommend by Dale Carnegie. This book,
don't
read it.
don't read it. But that's why we read these, right? Like, we learned that there are kids out there that everybody just wants to. You go scroll through the how-to sections in books or like the self-help sections. Everything is always, five this and start
Because
your
the
life.
thing is, the people who's looking for how to do this, how to do that, they don't know. And the
Right.
people who already know, they don't want to read it.
That's a great point. Well, then, man, you know what it is? There's a whole lot of fucking people in this world that don't know even
Yes.
less. Like, I mean,
yes,
like,
I
and
agree.
they go read this book. Like, I mean, can you please Google? Because my Google is, I mean, my internet is going so slow. How many books have been sold? The Five Love Languages book? Because I think it's like 10 million books or something like that. It's like something asinine. Oh, here, I got it now.
20 million copies sold.
20 million copies sold. Like that blows my mind. 20 million copies sold. Like 20 million people are going around talking about like, oh, your love language is
you like physical touch, right?
I get my love language is this. So make sure that you talk to me like this. Like, and I'm not gonna all right, that's all I got for the day.
I think we had enough of
yeah,
this.
I'm good.
Did not the how not to book.
Yes. So the question you all could think for yourself, and I hope to God the answer is what we said, but like, what would be the first thing you would do if you moved to a foreign country and didn't speak their language?
I mean,
it wouldn't be to ask them to speak your language. That's for damn sure.
Like, hey, here's a Vietnamese dictionary. Talk to me. I'll deport your ass.
Any final thoughts from you?
Like, don't read this book.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.